Hello and welcome to Larissa's Kitchen. Today, I'm making what is possibly the most whimsical looking meal I've made. It's peach Melba pork chops, and what appears to be a scoop of ice cream on top is actually a scoop of buttermilk mashed potatoes. So let's get started. This meal is not very complicated, but we do have a few things that we have to do in order. First up, we're going to toast about a quarter cup of slivered almonds. Now when we toast in a dry pan over medium-low heat. So let's get this over to the stove. I've got my 8-inch nonstick pan over medium to medium-high heat. We just need to stir or flip these every few minutes so that they don't burn on one side. Okay, this whole process will take about 10 minutes if you do it over medium-low heat. We just want these to have a little bit of color. We don't want them to get too dark. I'm just going to be using these almonds as garnish, so I'm going to set them aside and allow them to cool. And we're also going to need 5 to 6 fresh raspberries per plate, so buy accordingly. These have been rinsed and I have dried them because the last thing you want is water on top of your mashed potatoes. And speaking of mashed potatoes, I've got 2.5 pounds of russets that I've peeled and cubed. These will go in some heavily salted water. That's probably about 2 tablespoons of salt. And we're going to put it over on the stove and start it boiling. Once we do that, we're going to go ahead and turn on the grill and get that preheated. We're also going to be putting our sauce together. Now, I know this does say peach Melba pork chops, but I'm actually using apricot preserves because I like that flavor better. You could use peach preserves if that's what you like. This is 1 cup of apricot preserves, 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. We'll need 2 tablespoons of dijon and a pinch of salt and fresh cracked black pepper. This is going to go on the stove and start to simmer once we get those potatoes going. I've got those potatoes on and I just went out and preheated my grill. In a few minutes we'll turn the sauce on and get that started. For your pork chops, you're going to need 1 pork loin chop per person, liberally seasoned with kosher salt and fresh cracked black pepper. I'm just going to stir this sauce until it starts to simmer. After that, I'm going to turn it to low so that it stays hot until we're ready to use it. Now that those potatoes have just started to boil, it's time to get the pork on the grill. We're going to be grilling these pork chops for about 4 minutes aside on a hot grill. The rest of this meal is all about timing. Once I turn those pork chops, I'm going to drain the potatoes and then get the butter in there to start it melting. After I bring the pork chops in, I'm going to mash the potatoes while the pork chops rest. These potatoes need to be extra creamy, so you might need to add a little bit more buttermilk. To put these plates together, I'm going to be using a number 20 disher for these mashed potatoes. That gives it the perfect shape. It's time to give this dinner, a taste. That is wonderful. Hello and welcome to Larissa's Kitchen. Today I'm making what is possibly the most whimsical looking meal I've made. It's peach Melba pork chops, and you don't want to look at the cat butt.